You know that feeling when you hear about a potential breakthrough drug and then, well, it just seems to take forever to actually become
No,
available.
absolutely. It's a common frustration.
Right. And if you're like me, you want to get the key info, understand what's really going on, but without, wading through tons of jargon.
Exactly. And that's precisely where we're headed today. We're looking at something pretty fascinating right at the intersection of tech and health.
Okay, what do we got?
It's about these reported discussions between OpenAI, the AI bigwigs, and the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA.
OpenAI and the FDA. Interesting pairing. What about?
They're reportedly talking about using AI, artificial intelligence, to potentially speed up how new drugs get evaluated.
Okay, that sounds significant. A recent TechCrunch report is the basis for this, suggesting they're exploring how AI could make that critical evaluation stage faster.
Yeah, and think about what that could mean getting vital treatments to people who really need them much sooner.
So our mission today is basically to unpack this news, figure out what's actually being discussed according to the report and why it might matter, why it could be a pretty big deal.
That's the plan. So the core of it, based on the TechCrunch piece, seems to be these meetings that reportedly happened. OpenAI and FDA officials talking about applying AI to accelerate the drug review process.
Right, the review process before a drug gets the green light for the public.
Precisely.
And the report even mentions a specific name for an AI tool they might be discussing.
It does. cderGPT. cderGPT. The name kind of suggests it's aimed at the FDA's Center for Drug Evaluation. That's the CDE part.
Okay, CDE. Let's break that down. Why is that specific center important?
Well, the CDE is hugely important. They're the part of the FDA that handles the regulation for, well, almost all drugs. Think over-the-counter stuff, prescription meds.
So painkillers, antibiotics, complex cancer treatments, they oversee the safety and effectiveness for all of that.
Exactly. They're the gatekeepers, essentially. They perform these really rigorous reviews of all the data before a drug hits the pharmacy shelves. It's a massive undertaking.
Wow. Okay, so a tool named cderGPT suggests a very specific focus using AI right within that evaluation process.
That seems to be the implication, yes, a targeted application.
Now, here's a detail from the report that kind of made me pause. It mentions alleged involvement from people associated with Elon Musk's group, DOGE.
Yeah, that was mentioned. DOGE associates reportedly participated in these discussions.
An unexpected element, right?
Yeah.
Adds a bit of an intriguing layer. Makes you wonder about the sort of wider network potentially involved here.
It certainly raises some questions, doesn't it? But, okay, let's bring it back to why this AI angle is even being discussed. We need to understand the context.
Which is?
The current drug development timeline. As the TechCrunch article points out, getting a new drug from that first lab discovery all the way to your local pharmacy is, well, it's a marathon.
Yeah, I've heard figures like, 10, 12, 15 years sometimes?
Easily. Often over a decade. That's a huge amount of time, especially if you're waiting for a new treatment option.
So these reported talks, this cderGPT idea, it sounds like they're trying to tackle one specific part of that huge timeline.
That seems to be the focus, yeah. Specifically, the evaluation stage, which happens more towards the end of that long journey.
Okay, so not trying to reinvent the whole discovery process necessarily, but streamline those final checks, the quality control before it goes out.
Exactly. It's about efficiency gains in that specific phase. But it's worth remembering, that AI's potential in drug development isn't just about this evaluation part.
Right. There's a lot of buzz about using AI much earlier, too, isn't there?
Absolutely. People are really excited about how AI could help identify promising drug candidates faster in the first place, or maybe make clinical trials run more efficiently.
Like sifting through massive amounts of research data or analyzing trial results.
Yes, precisely. Or even predicting how different patients might respond to a drug. The potential applications are, well, pretty broad across the whole pipeline.
Okay, so there's this wider context of AI in drug discovery. But these FDA talks seem focused. Still, even for just the evaluation part, there's got to be a big question mark, right? The TechCrunch piece mentions it.
Ah, you mean reliability.
Exactly. How reliable are these AI models, especially for something this critical?
And that's probably the central challenge here. How do you ensure that an AI tool used in deciding whether a drug is safe and effective is actually giving you accurate, dependable results?
Yeah, because the stakes are incredibly high. It's not like asking an AI chatbot for, a recipe suggestion where a mistake is maybe just annoying.
Right. This is about public health. So the concern about the, quote, unreliability of AI models is completely valid. You absolutely need robust checks, validation, oversight.
Control mechanisms,
You
basically.
got it. Which is probably why, as the report suggests, these talks seem focused on specific applications within the existing FDA framework.
Meaning it's not like they're proposing AI takes over the whole approval process tomorrow.
Doesn't sound like it, no. More like exploring where AI could provide real efficiency benefits without compromising those rigorous safety and efficacy standards. It's about augmenting, perhaps not replacing entirely at this stage.
Okay, that makes sense. Finding the right balance.
Yeah.
Does the report mention anything else that gives context? Like, is the FDA already using AI elsewhere?
Good question. The TechCrunch piece actually has a related section that touches on this broader trend of AI in biotech and healthcare.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, they give an example. The FDA recently gave clearance for Samsung's smartwatch feature that detects signs of sleep apnea.
Oh, right. I remember reading about that. So that's AI in a medical device context.
Exactly. It shows the FDA is already engaging with AI in healthcare tech. They're navigating these waters, figuring out how to evaluate AI-driven tools. So these talks with OpenAI aren't happening in a complete vacuum.
And suggests they're, open to the possibilities, already building some familiarity.
This seems that way.
Yeah.
So if we kind of pull all these threads together, what are the key takeaways?
Okay, let's summarize. Number one, OpenAI and the FDA have reportedly been talking.
Check. About using AI, possibly a tool called cderGPT, to speed up drug evaluation.
Right. And the goal behind that is to try and shorten those really long drug development timelines.
Which ultimately could mean faster access to new, needed medications for patients. For you, potentially.
But major questions remain about how reliable these AI tools are and how you ensure they're used safely and effectively.
Absolutely. That reliability and oversight piece is critical.
So for you listening, this is definitely something to keep an eye on. It really highlights this rapidly evolving connection between AI and our health.
It's a space moving very quickly. Faster access to new drugs is obviously a huge potential upside. And this maybe leads us to a final thought, something for you to chew on. Given these potential benefits, faster drugs, but also knowing the limitations and, frankly, the risks of AI right now, what do you think are the most critical things the FDA absolutely has to get right? What should they prioritize above all else when they're evaluating using AI tools like this in the drug approval process?
That's a tough one. Innovation versus safety, speed versus certainty. It's a really fascinating and, frankly, vital balancing act they need to figure out.